this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Subdates 210524.3. With the electrifying weekend's entertainment sating my thirst, I have thrown myself back into my work. Oh, and as a public service announcement, Content Constable drops next week. As many of you who are creators or those who have uploaded before and may not use the service anymore as a creator know, you will have received an email from YouTube with regards to changes to the system. These changes are not very well received, and we have discussed some of the upcoming changes before, but this email offers a bit more clarity when it comes to what the changes are and how it impacts you as a creator. If you're outside the United States, this is predominantly focused at you. So hi, I'm one of them, and I thought what we'd do today is go through that message and offer comment where we feel that we need to inject our own level of disdain at some of it, most of it, possibly all. I have yet to make my mind up. So the email reads as follows. You are receiving this email because we are updating the YouTube terms of service to clarify our terms and provide transparency to our users. Many of us use terms of service a lot in arguments we make when it comes to content on YouTube, so knowing what the changes are will make sure most of us have a leg to stand on. These terms of service were updated in the United States in November of 2020, so it's taken a while to get round to Europe and the rest of the world. I can't imagine why. It's nice to be backwards, I guess. These changes shouldn't significantly alter your access or use of the YouTube service. Yay! I doubt it'll impact my inability to get ads on my content. However, we'll get to that in a moment. A summary of the changes reads as follows. Yes, I've added that. Facial recognition restrictions. The terms of service already state that you cannot collect any information that might identify a person without their permission. There is a word, it's called doxing. YouTube is very much against it, and part of me had a thought that perhaps when they updated this, they did so because other platforms, certainly ones that are growing quite a bit at the moment, like TikTok, who themselves don't have much in the way of, let's say, standards when it comes to doxing. In fact, many users on that site or app are all in favor of doxing. It's quite tragic. So I had thought perhaps YouTube introduced this as a way of saying, yeah, no, we're going to stand above that because we will set a standard. And for the sake of it, doxing is bad, don't do it. If you do it, you're as bad as someone that flags content. That's you. While this has always included facial recognition information, the new terms make that explicitly clear. Well, isn't this just fantastic? The next one, though, oh, this one's quite special. YouTube's right to monetize. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying what I think as the reason for them introducing this. Because of the adpocalypses, they have lost revenue because of the systems they've had to introduce to make it so that those who were deemed acceptable could have ads on their content. Because of that, they need to recover some of that lost earnings from somewhere, so they will at least be them breaking even, which is about right for YouTube. And I can't think of a better way of doing this, beyond ripping people off when it comes to super chats by basically taking more than you claim to take, by simply monetizing content either for those who are not in the partner program or just on videos that were demonetized by YouTube anyway. So without further ado, let me read the next part. YouTube has the right to monetize all content on the platform, and ads may appear on videos from channels not in the YouTube partner program. Part of me had wondered how this would affect the likes of Styx Hexenhammer, and then I remembered he has done a few streams with super chats involved where he'd answer questions. So part of me wonders if he'll just turn the ads on because of that, because he takes a pledge, doesn't he, where he promises he won't monetize his content. But if YouTube are just going to arbitrarily start monetizing his content and then take all the money from his work, it does put us at a bit of a fork in the road, doesn't it? And what about those who've had their videos, let's say, demonetized by YouTube, but an ad appears anyway. Really are trying to bleed a stone dry, aren't you? And ensure those that don't have access to such shekel-worthy rewards are not paid for it. So I'm now going to insert an opinion with this, because I do have one. When I started on YouTube in 2015, I had access to monetization. I remember after my first month, I made 2 pence. I was so happy. And then I found out I couldn't get any of it until I had about £60 in my AdSense account. It took over a year, but I got there. It was quite a good day. I bought a bottle of whiskey with it. I still haven't opened it, which sounds really, really silly, but I'm a sentimental person. The reason I bring up my past ability to be monetized on my main channel, something which my subsequent channels Moistski Live, Politics, Meghan Plays, Gaming, and Moistski Reads, well, that's pretty obvious really, isn't it? It's ASMR. All had to earn access to monetization except for the last one because I can't get there. It's impossible, alright? I've accepted defeat. And I firmly believe shifting the goalpost so that those who had to have 1,000 subscribers and what was it originally, 10,000 minutes watched or something, to then change it to 4,000 hours. It's a difficult goal for those who are trying to grow, and unless you have a viral video, you are going to struggle. Or unless you're promoted by the likes of YouTube. Take out ads maybe. It depends on the kind of creator you are. And ultimately it's not the easiest to do. It took me a year with the Politics channel because I was streaming PMQ responses and a weekly political recap stream which is on Spotify now. Link below. And the gaming, I was just streaming all the time. But I'm mostly on Twitch now. I firmly believe everyone, no matter your subscriber size, should have access to monetization. I've always believed that. It might not be something many agree with, but I don't believe it fair on many people who are trying to start out by setting a goal that could well be hard to obtain or attain. The hardest part is getting 100 subscribers, by the way. I found 1,000, yeah, it can be. I found there's this weird trend as you get closer to a milestone, you suddenly start slowing up. I can't imagine why. And I don't support the idea of YouTube monetizing your content for the work you produce. I never support that. That is not fair, and it is at best stealing. But handily insulated by the YouTube's terms of service. The final one, royalty payments and tax withholding. So this is AdSense. This is where we make our money, which is called royalty payments. And tax withholding, well, that's because of treaties with other countries and the United States. So if, like myself, you're in the UK, you had to go on your AdSense account and do a tax form. Upon completing the tax form, you would have found out that the United Kingdom has a treaty with the US, meaning you will not then pay a flat tax fee of 30% to the federal government from your AdSense earnings, which is fantastic news. I do not want to give them 30% of nothing. I'd very much like my nothing, so I can buy no Haribo, and I mean the drug-related alternative. So, for creators entitled to revenue payments, such payments will be treated as royalties from a US tax perspective, and Google will withhold taxes where required by law. Thankfully, most of us are protected by this, because of the forms I earlier mentioned. Other sites like Twitch do this anyway, as does Patreon, link below. So when many people were up in arms over this, I thought it was a bit of a non-question. To be honest, it made perfect sense. And also, I don't then lose 30% of my income, because Twitch also doesn't base itself in the United Kingdom, nor does Patreon. These changes come into effect on the 1st of June, which is next Tuesday. And this is important, because if you don't understand this, you're going to struggle. And while I have prattled on for about 10 minutes on this subject, the condensed version is now going to read as follows. Don't dox, YouTube stealing your money that you can't have anyway, and you'll pay 30% tax unless you bother to go to your AdSense account and fill out a tax form. Okay then, I think we're done here with that. As we're done, I do want to know what you think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. As a final thing, I shall be streaming on Twitch tonight. Some murder fun time. If I don't see you there, have a fantastic day, and thank you all very much for listening.